You're listening to the Game Tenants Podcast.
What's up, and welcome to the Game Tenants Podcast, the failed adventures of two gamers and their quest for Gamecast stardom. This is episode 69.
Yeah.
And I am Church of the Game Grinder, and as always, joined by my excellent co-host,
Jason, the Corpseflood Gaming. I'm excited and I'm motivated to be here.
It's episode 69.
Yeah, so I'm motivated. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to prepare something, but I didn't for this episode, so hey.
It's more like episode Slack-69.
Pretty totally.
But I had that prepared.
Yeah.
Sure. No, not really.
Wrote it down.
Off the cuff.
So what are we going to talk about in this episode?
Probably some video games at some point.
What?
Yeah.
Video games?
I'm feeling it.
All right. See how that goes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We could just giggle about 69 for like 5 or 6 minutes first if you like.
Insert Adam Sandler soundbite here.
I better not be Kevin James, that's all I'm saying. I'd rather be Rob Schneider.
Anyways.
So, what you been up to, buddy?
I am pretty good. Been playing a lot of stuff, been doing a lot of stuff. First off, I guess I'll mention there is a new video, Pickups number 29, which is the first live stream I ever did.
Hell yeah.
It wasn't horrible.
Yeah,
So
you done good. I done bad though. I done bad.
So yeah, check that out. That was basically all the pickups I've gotten in like the last 5 months, I think, because I fell way behind. Then I was also on another episode of Chris, the Old Ass Retro Gamers podcast. The movie is starting podcast. Last time we did a commentary for House, the 80s classic horror movie. This time was the forgotten cult classic from the 80s as well, Solar Babies.
I got really lost last time. I was literally just watching like season 1 of House and trying to put you guys commentary with it. It lined up exceptionally well for what it was though. So it was an interesting listen.
Yeah. It was like we were talking about like horror monsters while a dude's like chugging pills.
Yeah. I see it. That is gruesome. You're right.
Yeah. Then one thing that I didn't forget about, but I don't think I mentioned before, is last fall I went to a Final Fantasy concert. It was, for some reason I'm forgetting the name of that one because it's different.
Distant Worlds, wasn't it?
That's the main one.
Oh,
the smaller one was...
I'm forgetting it as well.
What was it? Hold on, folks. Give me 2 seconds. A New World. Intimate music from Final Fantasy. I went to that back in September with Justin, and that was basically a very small... I don't even know... you wouldn't call it an orchestra, I guess. It was only like an 8 or 10 piece band where they played Final Fantasy music, arranged by Nobuo Uematsu for a small setting. But fortunately, the big, like the official production, A New World,
the Big Papa,
or no, Distant Worlds.
Distant Worlds. Yeah.
Yeah,
you were there, man.
Big ones, Distant Worlds. Music from Final Fantasy came through Minnesota, and I went to that show also with Justin. and that was amazing. It's a full-blown orchestra. They have, a screen in the back that kind of shows scenes from the games that they're playing the music for, and they had a whole choir, and goddamn, it was awesome, like super good.
Wicked.
If anybody ever gets the opportunities to go to one of those shows, go to either of them.
Yeah, I didn't have an opportunity. I wasn't invited, so I didn't get to see it.
Bummer.
So, we're good.
But then what else? I went to a couple metal shows, and been playing a bunch of games. Played some more Beat Saber. Still working on that. I will say, for anybody who's kind of familiar with the game, I finally beat Angel Voices on Expert, which I'm pretty proud of. And at this point, I am one more song away from getting the achievement for getting full combos on 15 songs on Expert, which means I am 2 steps away from getting the platinum in Beat Saber, or 3 steps actually, because I need an 1,000,000 points achievement, and then I need to beat one of the I forget what the mode's called. It's where the blocks don't have arrows and you just kind of like free cut, but the levels are like way different.
Pretty
So
sad.
I'm sure that's going to be a challenge.
Interpretive slice.
Yes.
That's what it should be called.
And then as far as games, played through Catherine, Astrobot, started playing the Capcom beat 'em up bundle, mainly Knights of the Round and Armored Warriors. And I also played Job Simulator. And for a segment for this episode, we're just going to kind of talk about some of these games. So I'm not really going to say much about them right now. We'll talk about them in a little bit if you stick around. But
I'll be here.
I hope so. So with that said, what have you been up to in the last few weeks?
God damn, nothing as exciting as what you've been up to. Nothing came through my small Canadian town, so I saw no video game concerts.
Snow? Snow came through. That's something, right?
No, it didn't come through. It stayed.
Yeah.
It stayed.
Same here.
The tour ended here, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too much. I am going to call myself out immediately before you do. I am #bad friend, and I missed out on your live stream. I did watch it later, but yeah,
It's all good.
It was my wife's birthday, and circumstances made our date get kind of postponed, and ended up watching the movie we went to see later. It was an amazing movie, though, if that counts for anything. I
Sure.
went saw Alita Battle Angel, and it was amazing.
Awesome.
I recommend anyone go see it. It was
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Like we talked about it before, I've seen I watched the anime, or anime movie, I guess, back in the day, and that is quite good. Never read the manga, and from what everybody has said, that this is like
the
done pretty damn well.
Yeah, the first time Hollywood didn't totally whitewash it or completely fuck it up.
Yeah.
When translating it, kind of thing. When I heard James Cameron was part of it, I was a lot more enthusiastic about it, because because going with like other recent ones like Ghost in the Shell. I'd seen Ghost in the Shell like a long time ago, probably like 15 years ago. I remembered almost none of it. So then I was like, I'll watch this one. And even then it was like okay. But I was like, I'm sure if I remembered the actual anime one, I'd think this was trash. And
Ghost in the Shell was one that I was super cautious about, because as far as Ghost in the Shell goes, I'm super OG. Like, I saw the movie when it originally came out. I picked up the graphic novel back in like 98 or something. Like, this is before people even buying mangas other than like the hardcore of the hardcores.
Those back in the get beat up days.
Hey, kids today should be thanking me. I paved the way. their acceptance.
They saw the one sale of one graphic novel, and they're like, making a movie.
Yeah. So yeah, and then when the reviews came out, I was just like, I mean, I'll watch it eventually. I haven't still.
It was just like okay, like it wasn't awful, but like I said, like I wasn't expecting a lot.
Yeah,
and Scarlett Johansson's just a bad actress. I'm sorry. She's
fine. I mean, I like her in a lot of stuff.
No, she's fine, but she's not really a good actress. She's just kind of she's just kind of like, well, she is a robot, so maybe that's why she got cast. I don't know. She comes off like a robot as far as most things I've seen her in. I'm not extensively watched a ton of her movies, but that's usually what she comes off as to me. But it is what it is. Anyways, besides that, I've just been playing a shit ton of VR. I posted on my page that I was going on a VR binge, and I held to that as soon as I was done Resident Evil 2. I kicked the shit out of a bunch of VR games. I'll cover more when we're talking about our games, but yeah, I think I beat, I'll say 5, kinda 6. One's not really a beatable game, and almost 7. But it's been a good binge so far, but I've only got till the end of this week to finish at least part 1 of the binge, because Devil May Cry 5 comes out Friday, and I'm all over that.
Hell yes. It's getting great reviews.
I've been, I'm pretty good at avoiding the hype. When I know I'm going to get something, we've talked about it before, that I just don't follow anything about it. I'm just like, yeah, it looks cool, I'm going to buy it. Then I'm just, I'm just totally media blackout until it comes out, to avoid overhyping and then being like, oh, it's not what I really wanted. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, but I haven't been able to avoid a bunch of the stuff. I just keep seeing people saying really good shit about it, so that's a good thing. Yeah, I haven't really watched anything, but general consensus
I watched
the awesome game.
Easy Allies did a review for it, and they spoke highly. So
sweet. So yeah, that's what I'll be all over after this.
Cool.
So I guess that's what am I going to be up to, I suppose.
All right.
Besides that, the news has been pretty meh for the last couple of weeks.
Before we get to the news, though, thing that everybody's always excited for, the retro game highlight.
Yes, that old thing.
So last time I had talked about Neverwinter Nights. I had almost forgot of what that was, and Jason reminded me that we were talking about the upcoming remasters of a lot of those old BioWare games. So it seems like a good fit. So what you got for us this time?
I'm going to go with a game that has some significance to the upcoming convention we're going to, Midwest Gaming Classic. I'm going to go with good old WCW NWO Revenge.
I would like to say, I mean, I'll always admit that those games are great, but I fucking hate those games. Because my friends, mostly, you've mentioned a bunch of times that you want to try to play that at MGC, because there's the
Eric Bishop is there, and he's going to be doing a commentary, and $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase is probably going to have something to do with it. But I need to challenge them. I just got.
But my friends, we used to play the crap out of that and WrestleMania 2000, and
No Mercy M's the best.
A few of my friends in particular were just amazingly good at that game, and they never, ever showed any mercy. never. Like they knew, like I was like, I'm gonna quit playing this game if you guys like don't lay off me, and they would just pound me in submission gleefully.
But wait. Why did you not just get good? You take that from every other game. You just take that challenge.
Not usually, but trust me. Yeah. So years ago, I was like, fuck these games. I'm never playing them again. There have been multiple instances over the years where my friends are like, hey, let's bust out the 64 and play those. And I'd be like, sure.
Oh, it's broken. I literally busted it.
No,
out.
I'll let them play. I just refuse.
I'll watch.
But
I think it's in my thumb. I can't play this one. What?
But why did you pick it as a retro game highlight?
Because it is. I mean, it's not the first one in the series by THQ and Aki, but it is what really kind of started what culminated in being WWF No Mercy. Mm-hmm. It's probably the best WCW game ever. It's basically the No Mercy of WCW. It's a riot. It's like one of my favorite 4-player games ever. When everyone brings up GoldenEye, I'm like, yeah, that was a pretty good one. But getting 4-player on a wrestling game is where it really hits the fan. It can go. Yeah, it can go any way at any time.
Yeah. So, what was the?
I never seen any memes
like all the dudes and the elimination.
Oh, Battle Royale, or it's Royal Rumble in like WWF games. But yeah, it was Battle Royale. You have to knock the guys over the top rope.
Yeah.
Just like out of all the wrestling games, it's arcadey.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yep.
And it's what wrestling games need to get back to, not realistic sweat splashing and all this shit. They just really need to get
grab chairs from the audience, and
that shit's like, you can still do that in the newer games.
Sting comes out with a baseball bat.
Yeah, like all shit. It's what the SmackDown series kind of started off doing. I wouldn't say improved on. It just did it differently and good in its own way, and then it's kind of lost its way. It's been hit and miss year to year. Some are total shit. Some are pretty cool. The backstages in the earlier ones used to be amazing, and then as they've kind of started getting away from the hardcore match type stuff, there's been like smaller and smaller backstages. Some games it's just a hallway. WCW Revenge didn't have backstages, but I can forgive it for that because it was awesome in every other way. It's just a simple pick up and play wrestling game. While they were making those games before they moved on to the WWF games, the WWF games were like a mishmash of like Mortal Kombat inputs to do like a suplex. And I played those and had fun with those too because I was a super wrestling fanatic. But these games were just had everything over it. Like I always was more of a WWF fan, but this game I would always come back to. Like it was just.
Yeah, I think most people preferred that one.
Yeah, just the THQ wrestling games on N64, they're legendary. I don't really get into the first one, the World Tour. It's clunky. It's kind of like, it's getting there, and then WCW Revenge is where it really picked up and started kicking ass. And then like all the games going forward there. But yeah, it's one of my favorite N64 games, and I hear No Mercy get talked about all the time. I don't hear people talk about Revenge nearly as much, and I think it deserved a mention. So that's why it's my retro game highlight.
Right on. Good pick.
And I am going to kick somebody's ass at MGC at that shit, and I don't even care. Even if it's not at the after party, I'll bring an N64 and my own copy of WCW Revenge, and we'll throw down in the hotel rooms or something.
There you go.
I'm tagging you in. You can't.
Sure.
It's not going to be fixed either. You can't just throw the match.
That's what you think. But yeah, so moving on to news, as you were kind of mentioning, I mean, there's some significant news things, but they've been like covered to death, and they're not really our forte per se. So Reggie retiring from Nintendo, which I will say as a CEO, like seemed kind of cool, just because of like the videos and stuff.
He seemed pretty personable, and he actually seemed like he had a genuine enthusiasm for what he did. He wasn't just businessman all over. He seemed like he was like, yeah, we need to make good games because I want to play good games.
And then of course there was like when he like was introduced, what he came out and was like dropping like they live lines,
Yeah,
kick ass, and the people were like, oh my god, Nintendo CEO said a naughty word.
Just surprised he didn't get like canned then.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They came in with the attitude.
I can't remember where I heard it, but some people were thinking that he decided to step down because of the current stuff going on with Microsoft and getting their like bringing their Game Pass and their like Xbox Live app thing or whatever to the Switch. And I was like, I don't think he'd outright quit because of that, but I don't know. Someone was speculating that he was just like, no, this is Nintendo. I don't know. I can't really picture that, but that'd be funny actually if he did.
Yeah. So there's that. People are some people are excited about the new Pokemon stuff. Don't really care too much myself. I mean,
I cared more about the meme I saw where you picked Pokemon tits or Pokemon ass.
Yes, that. There was. I did find it interesting that the 3 new Pokemon are essentially inspired by the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, it's weird.
If anybody saw that, like I was like, okay, that's interesting. Basically, like each Pokemon has like a notable feature from one of the Powerpuff Girls. Like there are separating factors, like their bows and.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not the Pokemon super fan you are. I didn't really look into it.
I shared the meme. So
I didn't.
I thought it was humorous and interesting, so I shared it. Just because I'm not a fan doesn't mean I can't appreciate whatever you want to call it, fan service. I don't know. This is episode 69, by the way.
Yeah, that's why
Service.
For the record, I choose Pokemon ass.
Totally. Yeah, I agree. So on to the news topics that we are going to cover. As per usual, it's a lot of little mentions.
Yeah, just things we want to bring up that didn't seem to be the top of the news pile or the talked to death topics.
Yeah, for sure. First thing is just to mention something that I've been hyped for. And there's a delay. Shovel Knight, King of Cards / Treasure Trove / the 3 Amiibo 3-pack have all been delayed. They don't have a specific date. They just said several months, which, is what it is. It's already been delayed a couple times, but I'd rather them
put out a good product than a broken product quickly.
They're adding in a versus mode, like a battle mode too. So there's like more to.
It's actually battle royale mode if you read closer. I'm just kidding.
I'm one of those that's delays are if they're to improve the quality of the product or complete it, I'm all for it. And I'll trust Yacht Club on this one because they've done a fantastic job so far.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited to get the new one going. I really got to play through the first one on like a console too, because I just beat the first one on my 3DS. But
cool. The other 2 DLCs were really good too. Plague Knight in particular, I thought was really good. Like I really, really enjoyed the Plague Knight campaign. And Spectre Knights was good too, but not as good as the others.
Yeah, because I think I've got all the physical versions you can get. I got the Wii U, PS4, and the 3DS. But yeah, 3DS is just like the perfect thing for at the time when I still worked at Walmart. It was like my lunch breaks for like a solid month.
Now you can get it on the Switch and you can play it on the go.
Wow, it's on the Switch now.
I don't know.
Physically?
Probably. Everything's ported to the Switch.
3DS. No, you were tied.
No
down
Switch
to 3DS.
port, no buy. Which is what our Steam guys were saying about.
I'll wait till the S Plus Definitive Edition comes out on Switch, then I'll probably get it.
There you go. Well, one thing you can get on the Switch and the PlayStation 4 now, which I'd mentioned before, Deltarune Chapter 1 is available for free on the PS4 and the Switch. Again, this is the follow-up to Undertale. Deltarune's actually an anagram for Undertale. It's not directly connected, but it uses assets. It's kind of like an alternate universe. But Toby Fox did some really interesting things with the gameplay, kind of enhanced it, upgraded it compared to what we were used to from Undertale. So definitely check out Deltarune. It's free. Like I said,
boy.
Chapter 1, you get a good 2-3 hours out of it. Especially if you go for the like secret boss, because he's pretty tough. So there's that. Another, I don't know if this is going to be free. I'm guessing probably not. But Beat Saber has its first music pack, getting a release date of March 14th. They're doing some like UI changes to like make browsing through the different, they're calling them OSTs. Like I think the first, like OST 1 is like the originally released songs, and then they've added some songs since then. So I think that's gonna be like OST 3, and then there's gonna be the music pack. So that's great. More Beat Saber stuff.
That makes it 8 days you've got to platinum that bitch before that shit comes out.
I was thinking about trying. I will have some time off next week, so maybe. Then we got another release, which I haven't watched any of it myself.
I haven't watched it yet either, but I've got it bookmarked.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty cool sounding in concept. Of all places, IGN is host. I don't know if they put this together or if they're just hosting it, but there is an Alien Isolation digital series, which is basically, from my impression, is it's Alien Isolation, but they probably use like an in-game director camera or something to like basically turn the game into a movie.
Yeah, they added some other things to flesh out certain parts of the story in the game to like fit together without having to have like gameplay footage.
Yeah. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, like cool. So it's like a machinima, basically, isn't it?
Yeah. And like I said, I fully intend to watch it. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. Alien Isolation is one of my all-time favorite horror games. I always tell people, if you play it, and if you haven't played it, and you do play it on hard. The developers intended it to be played on hard. It makes it intense as shit. It is hard on hard, but it's so worth it because it's like, I mean, the xenomorph is supposed to be menacing. It's supposed to be a threat. Like, yeah.
That's why I like so much about about that other Alien game. It's so good. Where you can just basically punch them and they die. They let go of you.
Oh, is that Colonial Marines?
Yeah. That's the most like.
Yeah.
That's it. Basically, made the aliens a joke.
Yeah.
The game itself isn't.
But it's
just the license it's tied to. It's fucking awful.
Yeah, but I think it's awesome that they went from that game was licensed and released and was complete trash, and then I forgot who did Alien Isolation. I'm drawing a blank right now, but then they turn around and put out Alien Isolation, and it's like amazing. Like I said, it's one of my favorite horror games of all time. It's like it is the definitive Alien game.
Oh yeah.
Like there's not a better one. There's no way there's a better one. I haven't played Aliens Infestation. I hear that's really good. It's on the DS, but that's like a shooter platformer Contra kind of game, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's like it's a lot like Contra.
Yeah. So, yeah. Alien Isolation digital series. Check it out. IGN's YouTube. Want to watch that?
Book Euro.
So then there was just a new announcement that I hadn't really had the chance to look into too much.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because basically the bulk of what we're gonna talk about this episode is the games you played. So there's gonna be a lot of talk about VR.
Yeah,
and old Tendo's throwing their hat in the VR ring in the cardboard arena of VR. Apparently, the new Labo sets taking on VR, and I saw a video of I believe it was John Riggs with this thing that turns your Switch into a VR.
Yes,
and I just mentioned that thing looks heavy as shit.
No.
And he says, yeah, it's quite weighty. Like,
there was a guy who actually did a review on that device like a few weeks ago before John Riggs did it.
Okay.
And this guy was like, this thing is absolute trash. Like, just the entire thing and the entire concept. Like, I mean, the Switch isn't set up for any sort of VR thing. So it's just like,
well, it's a heavy screen too.
Yeah. You just put a big screen in front of your face.
Yeah. You basically, I picture it needing like a headgear thing, those like headgear braces.
Mm.
I picture it needing that whole apparatus just to like reduce neck strain because so from all the little snapshots I've seen of this stuff, it's always got someone like holding on to it. Mm-hmm. Like there'll be like a shooter game where it's like right in front of your face and you're holding this like fake gun or something. I don't know. Yeah.
But maybe now that Nintendo's going to have some VR software, maybe it's actually viable now, because that's really the only separating factor. Because essentially the Switch VR, from what I can tell, is it's like the like mobile the mobile phone VR systems, like the Gear VR, stuff like that.
You just put your phone
where it's not full. Well, I guess it's not much different than any of the other VRs. They don't give you they don't take up the entirety of your vision, but they do a better job.
Yeah, it just uses the gyroscope in your phone for looking around and shit.
And I have a Gear VR. That was actually pretty neat when I first got it, just like as a gimmick experience to kind of see where mobile VR tech was. I was like, hey, this is kind of neat. And it actually made me excited at the time to actually check out the Oculus and the Rift in the PSVR.
Sweet.
Which have all turned out to be awesome. So I mean, didn't mean to take over that. What exactly is Switch VR?
It's Labo. It's a new Labo kit. So it's a cardboard thing you build, and it's just a whole bunch of shit with this Switch in it, and it doesn't look as immersive as anything. I mean, it could be fun for what it is, but I'm sure it's going to be like $150 for some more cardboard.
Expensive cardboard.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't get on. Labo is like one of those things that should be like the game for $40 and the add-on kits for like $15 a piece.
I mean, people do use Google Cardboard.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
literally a piece
of the mobile stuff is very basic, very gimmicky.
The only thing, what's that?
Where this, they could actually, I mean, whatever Nintendo's putting out is going to be pretty gimmicky, and think like 1-2 Switch or something like that is basically what they'll probably put out with. It's just going to be mini games or something, not like any full-fledged game. But maybe it could develop in that direction.
But to be fair, a lot of the VR games in general are only like an hour or two long. So
true. So
the only mobile VR thing I have is this Batman VR thing. It's just, I don't know. I bought it at Walmart. I think it was actually one of the times I came down and visited, and I was like on the way back, and I think we stopped at a Walmart, and it was like a $60 thing on sale for like $8.
Mm-hmm.
So checked. It's Batman, so I had to buy it. But yeah, I never checked it out yet, so can't really comment on it at all. Except for it's Batman and it's got a Batarang controller, so if all else fails, I got a Batarang controller.
There you go.
Yeah, that's about all my thoughts on.
Yeah, I don't got much to say for it. I mean, it could.
I hope it works out better than that headset that came out a couple weeks ago. But I don't know if it's anything like the other stuff. Like I don't hear any enduring Labo fans that are still playing it religiously.
Yeah,
or anything.
I really haven't heard anything about it, and other than that initial like everybody, all the YouTubers got to do reviews on it because
because
Nintendo.
Yeah, it's just what else? It is what it is. Yeah, just it being like notoriously long to put together, like 3 hours to put together this shit.
My kid destroyed it in 5 minutes. Kid is an asshole. Speaking of assholes, how about season pass assholeness?
Yeah, Koei Tecmo, Dead or Alive 6, their season pass. That's almost, 1.5 times the price of the game.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not assholes. Maybe they're just really upfront with their intentions.
No.
Like, the hell with microtransactions. Give us $93 upfront for part 1 of our season pass.
Yeah.
And you'll get some fan favorite characters that are locked behind the season pass, and then like probably 100 outfits, color swaps. That should just be press a bumper and that's the color swap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really over this kind of shit.
Yeah, and it's like I am seeing like I have seen a bunch of like outrage recently about it, and I think it's warranted. And this is nothing new though. Like, there's some people that are acting like this is like what. Whoa, this is like we've never seen this before, and no, we've been seeing this for years.
Oh yeah,
as we were talking about before, Street Fighter V was notorious when it was launched for having on-disc DLC that was locked out.
Oh yeah, and the older, that's what I was saying. Yeah, like this move just sounds kind of like
maybe that was Street Fighter. Was it Street Fighter 4?
Street Fighter 4, I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't 5. It was 4.
No, 5 just came out and there was nothing because there was like not even a complete game yet.
Yeah, right.
And then they took like 8 months to put up.
4 was the one that had the on disc.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and it was that's what exactly what I was saying. I was like, this Koei Tecmo movie is just Capcom a few years ago.
Yeah.
Capcom's redeeming themselves and being a real good guy lately, so someone else has to take up the reins.
Sure.
Not to say that Street Fighter isn't going to still gouge you for color swaps and shit, but
what's funny, I think what's funny, well, I don't know, it's not funny necessarily, but combined with this season pass stuff with Dead or Alive 6 is then you also take the Dead or Alive fan base and the developers are like, hey, we're toning down the game because of people who don't play the game, and the fan base is like, what?
They're trying to widen their audience by alienating their audience.
Yeah, and
no more jiggles.
Which I hear it's still there.
Yeah, it's just toned down. It's not
costumes are.
It's not DOA volleyball levels anymore.
Right, which again, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach 3 is not getting a Western release, but they have a region-free release that you can get from PlayAsia coming up here soon.
Yeah, well, they're all region-free now anyway.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know.
Or multi-language, that's it's not region-free.
They're not my like top fighting game franchise, so this really isn't bothering me too much. But
yeah, I haven't played Dead or Alive since 2.
Yeah, every
I liked
I liked them a bit much.
I just didn't play them.
Yeah,
I just felt like playing games in general.
I've got I think a good majority of them. I don't have the first one, but I know I have two
I
different
played the
versions
shit
of
out of the first one.
two different versions of two. I got the Dreamcast and the Xbox, and I have 3, 4, a couple of the volleyball ones. But yeah, like I said, they're not it's not my top fighting franchise. I'll take my Mortal Kombat over that. Marvel vs. Capcom, Injustice,
Sure.
Tekken, King of Fighters.
Yeah. Well,
So
and we get to look forward. Speaking of Mortal Kombat, we'll be able to look forward to being nickel and dimed when Mortal Kombat 11 comes out too.
yeah, that's the hardest. As awesome as those games are, that's the hardest thing, is just trying to wait until they put out the complete edition, because you know it's coming.
Yeah, they'll put out a XL or something.
Injustice 2's like complete edition,
Yeah.
or I remember what they call it. It was like gold edition or something. But it was out like 3 months after. It seemed like it was like ridiculously fast.
Yeah, leave it to WB and NetherRealm.
Yeah, but at least pretty much what you're paying for in those is just a couple extra characters. I just pick and choose what I want from those. At least they don't like make you buy a pass to get all of them. You can buy separately, because for Injustice I had to get Ninja Turtles. There was just no way I wasn't getting the Ninja Turtle. But at least you got all 4 turtles by buying the 1 turtle pack, so that was worth it.
Totally.
But yeah, we're not trying to bitch about what's basically commonplace now. It's just staggering when you like, how much is the game? $60. How much is the season pass? Like $20, $25? No, it's $93. It's Jesus. I guess, like I said, they're being upfront about what they're expecting you to buy anyway. And with loot boxes becoming a vilified thing, they're like, well, we're not going to do loot boxes then. We'll just upfront charge you for everything. And there's no chance. You'll just get everything right out of the gate.
There you go. Yeah. So let's talk about some more games. Let's talk about the games we've been playing.
I've been playing a lot. I'm proud of it.
So let's just kind of like, I guess, take turns. We'll just talk about, what you want to talk about for a few minutes.
Well, the first game that I played was Operation Warcade. All my games I'm talking about are PSVR, so I'm not going to mention that they're a VR game every time. But it's basically Operation Wolf. If you could stick your face in the screen and look around and like shoot at shit like 3D. You can also play like there's like basically like a 2 quarters mode where you can play through all the levels one after another, just one setting of each level. But the main game is it's got 3 challenges a level, and it'll be something like blow up 5 guys with a grenade, don't shoot any civilians, shit like that. Kill 5 guys with a sniper rifle, kind of thing. And it plays the same as the old Operation Wolf, like where it just pans left to right at a certain speed, and you got guys jumping out, running out onto the screen, helicopters, gunboats, and whatever. Except for you don't really run low on ammo or anything. You don't need to worry about that. You get one hand is your Uzi, the other hand is a grenade. You get 6. No wait, I think you get 3 or 4 grenades to start with, but the more things you complete, the more little perks you unlock. Like after a while, you can unlock double Uzis. You can unlock this thing where it makes them like titanium, so you can basically block projectiles coming towards you that aren't like a missile.
Okay.
So it'll like reflect bullets back, so you almost got a little bit of a shield. In levels, there's these little things called immersion points where it'll stop panning and it'll bring you into this little part where you could be like driving a truck or a jet, or you could just be in a helicopter firing off the side. There's a pretty good variety to it. The loading, when you would select one of these points, kind of took you out of it a little bit. There'd be like I don't know. It seemed pretty lengthy, like 8 seconds, which isn't really that long, but with how PS2-ish the graphics are, you'd think it would be loading a lot faster. But yeah, the graphics, I should mention, definitely aren't going to be winning any awards, but the gameplay is pretty fun. A little shallow, but like I said, the immersion points kind of break that up. So, you unlock more stages by completing, a certain amount of challenges. It'll say like you get a star when you do a challenge, and certain levels will be like, this one needs 38 stars, so you'd have to unlock them that way. And so I kept replaying some of the same levels. Some of the challenges were an actual real pain in the ass, and were basically completely luck based. When I completed the game, I was basically only missing 2, and it's because I really believe these ones were broken, because I'm like, I don't think anyone even has the platinum on this game. So it was kind of a bummer. I wish there was more control. It seems like there's not very much controller support for VR stuff like that. Like, even when you're looking for like information about it. No, I'm not saying like trophy guides or anything, but there's nothing. If you go on like, the sites for where you would find that kind of stuff, there'd be maybe like a couple topics on a few things, but the more popular ones obviously have more. So
sure.
If you go on Astrobot, I'm sure there's like a whole thing about that. But yeah, the lesser ones is next to nothing. I've tried multiple sites just to be like, how do I get these last 2? And I just couldn't do it. But overall, it was a pretty fun game. It started to get kind of old towards the end. It's really simple. I was really into it for a few nights, but then by the end, I was just kind of like, let's get through these last few. So yeah, I'd actually recommend it for what I paid for it, though. I paid $16, and it was a pretty good time.
Cool. Operation Warcade.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. I heard about it through, I think it was John Riggs and a couple other. I watch a bunch of videos of like must-play VR games because I like to get different opinions and see what people are, try out some shit not everyone's talking about. Because I wanted to try some stuff that I hadn't had recommended to me yet by people I know or anything. So cool. I've been kind of avoiding the bigger ones to a bigger extent. I've really been wanting to play Super Hot though. So what's the game that you were playing?
So first one I will mention here, main ones, a couple I don't really have a whole lot to say about, but the game of the month for February for the Cartridge Club was Catherine, which has a remaster coming out this fall. But I thought, hey, perfect opportunity to play through Catherine. I've had it in my collection for a few years at least. I have it on the PS3, never played it. I always thought it looked kind of interesting, though I don't have anything against puzzle games. I just don't really play much puzzle games anymore.
It's a really different one, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Very different. And I'm super glad that Catherine was picked for Cartridge Club's Game of the Month, because I really enjoyed the game. So basically, it's like half kind of like sort of like I wouldn't say sim, might be too far. Like, so part of the game, you're like in a bar, like talking to your friends or talking to other patrons to kind of like move story along or like make some like moral choices. And then the other half of the game is the puzzle segments. So basically the premise of the game is the guy, Vincent, has a longtime girlfriend, Catherine with a K. And one night at the bar, he encounters a woman that he is like, I don't know, like infatuated with, I guess. Catherine with a C, and he ends up having a one night stand with her, and the one night stand like doesn't end basically, and then he starts having these nightmares where we go into the puzzle world where it's basically all these other men that are in these like situations like infidelity or just like these rocky relationship things, and they're trying to figure out like what the hell's going on. Only thing they know is they have to keep climbing the blocks. But gameplay wise, the puzzle game itself I thought was pretty fun. It can be pretty tough at times. I didn't have too many issues. I will say, like, for how many ever levels are in the game, like there's quite a few. I only got really stuck on 2, and instead of getting overly frustrated, I just looked up how other people got through. Not even the whole level, just a little segment. And I think the levels were like 3-3 and 6-3, which stuck out to me because just the numbers kind of all fit together.
So you cheated.
Whatever. I was cheating, but
I never got to play the full game, but I remember when it came out, I downloaded the demo and I thought it was really cool. I just never saw it for a decent price, honestly. Even I've been hoping to run across it now that all like the 360 and PS3 games are like worthless pretty much at GameStop and EB Games, but I came across it once and it was just one of those generic cases with it in there, and I was like, nah. Yeah.
But so the game, the puzzle stuff, sure, fun. That's not really what kept me going in the game. It was the story itself, the situations in the bar, some of the other situations, like there's some scenes in Vincent's apartment and then at this restaurant. But kind of the narrative of the game is what kept me engaged. Just kind of seeing how this story played out. There's a pretty interesting twist to this, to the story. I won't go too much into it, but I will say, like, for a good chunk of the game, like, I was saying to myself, like, I'm glad I'm not one of those people that feel I have to identify with a character to enjoy a game, which seems to be very common, or at least I kind of see that with like what I call quote unquote like general audiences. They're like, if I can't relate to the character, I won't enjoy this, which I think is stupid.
So I totally get that, because
but
how are guys gonna identify with Lara Croft playing Tomb Raider? What? Right. She's a girl.
But yeah, I was really like, man, I was like, Vincent's kind of like a piece of trash. Like he like, it's just like he keeps like the first like night happens where he has the I guess affair. I mean, him and Catherine with a K aren't married, but he has like the one night stand thing, and then like the entire rest of the game, he's like, this isn't gonna happen anymore, and then he's like, I'm gonna go home, and then he goes home and he gets wasted, and then he like wakes up in the morning and Catherine with a C is there again, and he's like, oh crap, how did this happen? I gotta not tell my girlfriend, and like he's just like it's one thing that kind of drives me nuts with a lot of current Japanese games, especially anime, is a lot of male characters, like leads, in especially like some of these kind of like more I wouldn't say harem things, because Catherine's not really like a harem game, but it kind of has that, you know, the relationship angle, the triangle, love triangle or whatever, where lead males are always just fucking idiots, like spineless pushovers that can't like make a decision for, you know, for the life of him. Like the like pretty much the entire game would have been like, oh crap, I got drunk and I cheated on my girlfriend. I'm gonna be a man about it and tell my girlfriend. And
that was a cool 5-minute game.
Like, so he really drove me nuts. There, like I said, there's kind of like a twist, and because of that twist, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna completely entirely hate this guy. He's still like a spineless pushover, but you know, there's circumstances which are pretty interesting. And so I played through the game. I kind of knew, you know, a game at this point, it's 8 years old or so. So there's lots of information out there. So I knew that there was various endings you could get. You could have endings with Catherine with a K, Catherine with a C, and then I read that there's some neutral endings. So I got a very vague idea of how to get the endings, but I didn't have like a guide necessarily. And the first playthrough of the game, I did like all the like, I guess like, there's, as you make decisions, you talk to characters, they'll ask you questions or you'll make responses, and you get like, there's like two outcomes. You have this meter, it's like a morality meter that comes up, and it either tick left, which is red, or a tick blue, or tick right, which is blue. And you can kind of get a vibe that the blue kind of leans towards Catherine with a K and the red's Catherine with a C.
Paragon. Just total Mass Effect.
Paragon, Renegade, or Neutral. And my first playthrough of the game, I didn't even know like there's some like significant choices like towards the end that would specifically direct you to like what's called like the true Catherine with a K ending, or I would have ended up with I think the like there's a bunch of endings. But anyways, I got like the best ending, I guess, as it were, with Catherine with a K. And then I was like, okay, I actually had a lot of fun. The story was, it was kind of saucy, and so I wanted to see what happens if, went the other way, just instead of, trying to resolve this thing, he's just going to dive into it. And I replayed through the game going completely like a cheater route, and not a whole lot changed. There was a couple additional scenes that happened with Catherine with a C. She also sends you a bunch of like lewd photos, like more so than the regular playthrough, which I was like, oh, that's something. But then the ending, I got the true Catherine with a C ending, and it was, once you get that ending, you're like, this is this is awesome. This is definitely not the canon ending because it's so ridiculous, but it's great. So anybody who plays Catherine, if you're whatever ending you go for, do that. But if you're not going to play through and get the true Catherine with a C ending, at least watch videos because it's pretty funny.
Sweet. Yeah. I've always wanted, like I said, I always wanted to check it out, but it just wasn't, wasn't at the price point I was looking at. It was basically close to new price just about any time I've seen it, except for that one time. Yeah, I'm sure maybe I'll keep an eye out for it at MGC.
Like I said, there is the remaster, like the remaster is coming out later this year, and they're actually adding in a third option. It's just a character called Rin, Catherine Rin. So it's a third Catherine. And I'm not exactly sure how it fits in, like if that's like a neutral route or something. But once I finished the game, once I got the Catherine ending with a K, the first ending, I immediately pre-ordered the collector's edition for Catherine Full Body. So
as you do,
look forward to that, and I will play through it when it comes out and just get the third ending. I won't worry about the first playthrough I did with Catherine with a K, I just played through on normal, and then the second playthrough I just ran through on easy just to speed things up. So when I play Full Body, I'll probably just run through on easy to get whatever that narrative route is.
So how long does it take, like, per run through approximately?
I want to say it was probably somewhere between like, maybe for me anyways, it was like 12 to 15 hours, I think, maybe 15-ish. Like it's a substantial game. There's like 9 or there's like 8 nights you play through, and every night you go to the gameplay section where you play through a few different stages of the puzzle part. So if you're getting stuck for a long time, like that's going to add more time to your gameplay. But I want to say it was somewhere between like 12 and 15 hours. I'm not 100% on that. I will say when I played through it the second time, since I already pretty much like mostly knew how to get through the puzzles. Like I kind of sped through a lot of the like kind of just like standard dialogue to get to the different stuff. I think my second playthrough I got through in like maybe 6 hours or so.
That's another thing I was going to ask. I was going to say the different routes. Does it make the puzzles change at all?
I don't believe so. I think the puzzle stays the same. I think it's the amount of you can like as you're playing through the puzzle. So it's like moving blocks. You like move blocks to climb this tower, and you can press a button to undo a move. And the lower difficulties give you more undos, gives you more retries, and it makes the level collapses slower. So basically, as you climb these towers, the bottom keeps falling out at certain intervals, and the easier difficulties, it happens at a lot slower of a rate.
Yeah, so, like the demo was actually pretty long for a demo. It wasn't just like a 10-minute thing. It was you got to play quite a few stages and stuff. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like I feel like I've actually played a good chunk, but yeah, no, I really might have to check out the full body edition.
Yeah.
All right.
So what's the next game you want to talk to?
Next game, something that's kind of a different thing for me. It's not something I usually get into. I actually grabbed Creed Rise to Glory, which is based on the new, the new line of Rocky spinoffs with Apollo Creed's son. It was actually pretty cool. I kind of compared it to like Wii boxing and stuff like that. Like I could never get into the Wii boxing. It was just kind of play a couple rounds and you're pretty much good to go and you're done. This game, I actually got really into it. I beat it in one sitting. You basically, like the title suggests, Rise to Glory. So you start off, no one wants to train you because your dad's Apollo Creed, and no one not your mom doesn't want you in there because your dad died in the ring. So why would she want you boxing, kind of thing?
Right.
I honestly, I've never even watched either of the Creed movies. From what I understand, the new one is basically a repeat of Rocky IV with the younger generation. So you basically start out, you're training, you do like a training montage before every match, and I think you fight about 8 matches, and then that's about it. And you can take it on different difficulty levels. There's different kind of stuff to do. It's kind of I wouldn't say bare bones, but it's pretty quick playthrough. If I kept at it, I'm probably just going to chip at it a little bit more. I could probably get the platinum pretty easily. But yeah, I think it was fun for what it was. Like I said, I got right hooked on it, and I got a full disclosure to say that I've never been sweatier playing any other game as I was playing that. It was kind of gross. I didn't realize I was sweating, and then I went to take off the visor, and then all of a sudden just my whole forehead just like it's like
a piss on your face.
Yeah, basically just right down my face. I was like, ugh, damn, dude.
Yeah.
So that rubber thing around the PS4 visor really holds back the sweat. And then I went to stand up, and I was like, did I like piss myself? I'm so sweaty. So I had to take down. Yeah. Okay. What you can do about it? I'm lazy. Yeah,
no,
I was wearing, and unless it makes me stand up, I'm probably playing PSVR sitting down.
Oh, sure. I played a lot of my games. Well, it depends on the game.
Yeah, it's got some really cool mechanics though. Like when you get knocked down, you basically have to do this like the same thing you do running. You hold the move buttons, and you basically like move your arms like you're running.
Okay. Sure.
Because, and you get basically 3 chances after the third time you're knocked down. You can't get back. But you see like a little small, almost like light at the end of the tunnel, and you run back towards it. And I thought that was really cool. So it's like you basically try not to pass out and stuff like that. And it was really intuitive. And I think it just the way it responded and everything, it was really, I really felt like I was boxing sitting down. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it was, like I said, something I'm glad I tried, but something I don't know if I would have tried if I hadn't heard good things about it. So
Awesome.
it's always good to try new things. What's your next game?
Next one here is the game I most recently finished, and that is Astrobot for the PSVR as well. Astrobot is, much as my Just Beat It posts, I think it is a must-play PSVR game. To be fair, I haven't played any other platformers, but I'm not. I mean, there's not many others that I know of. I know Moss is another one, but this is like full on platformer. Like, it's isometric-ish, and it's not like a little gimmicky game. Like, this is a full-fledged platforming game. It has 5 worlds with like 5 levels each. And then there's a bunch of like challenge stages. Basically, you're playing through these levels. You can go to the end and call it good, or you can try to save little robots along the way, because that's basically what you're doing. Is you're playing through the levels, saving robots. The game is called Astrobot Rescue Mission, and you're saving these little robots. There's 8 per level, and then there's also kind of like this. It's a chameleon, a space chameleon, that when you find it in the level, you just stare at it and it like pops, and it's basically how you find them. And
Cool.
Those unlock the challenge stages. But it's a solid platformer. I didn't think it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was hard, but it wasn't necessarily like super easy either. It posed a little challenge, especially if you're trying to get save all the robots and find the chameleons. I think it adds a lot to it.
What about the challenge stages? I've heard conflicting things, that they were super frustrating, and then other people were like, "Oh, they're pretty easy."
I didn't think they were too hard. There was a couple stages that took me a handful of tries to get through. Like, there's the challenge stages are a lot of it's either like an obstacle course or maybe like a boss fight. And some of the obstacle course stuff can get a bit frustrating because you're on a timer too.
Yeah.
And some of them, it just, unless you're trying, like, sometimes it's not obvious that you can like skip a jump and like jump to like a further object. So it's like there's a couple levels where you really have to figure out how to shave a few seconds off of your run through. But I didn't think it was too difficult. But then again, I'm not like tooting my own horn or anything here, but I've played a lot of very challenging games. Like in the past, I've said before, like when Shantae Half Genie Hero was released, I thought the game was like super easy. And I've had other friends say that it was pretty challenging for them. So, it's just my experience in platformers that I'm just particularly good at them. So, but the levels are designed really well. Basically, you're like a floating robot that's holding a PS4 controller, like a disembodied PS4 controller. Mm-hmm. So you can look down and see like the base of you, but that's it. Once in a while, you'll come across like a display screen it's like a camera that's looking at you, so you can like move, and the robot that you are like will kind of move as you're moving. But basically, you have a little robot that you control that runs around in front of you. It's the little robots that are on the cover. Yeah. And you do platforming. You can climb up walls, and you collect coins, and you fight little enemies and stuff to get through to do platforming. Like I said, it's a platformer. It's just really cool. It's super immersive because you're in the level. It's a 3D level, so you're basically going down the middle of the level, controlling this robot, going to the sides. Sometimes you're looking behind you, and like to the ground, depending on your positioning to where the robot is. So it's pretty engaging. That immersive, I guess, would be the better word. The gameplay's tight. It controls really well. The robot, besides the attack, he has like a charge move he can do. When you jump, you can hit jump again, and he will hover for a couple seconds. So, there's a lot of variety to the gameplay. You get some power-ups with your controller sometimes where you shoot a grappling hook that will also be like a tightrope. Sometimes you get like a water cannon. There's like a kind of like a pea shooter thing. So they throw a little bit of variety in. The game's like, I would say it's pretty adorable at times. The robots are cute. The enemies are cute. It's bright and colorful. Just some little fun things that they do. Like if you don't do anything with your robot for a few seconds, like it will, like a little VR visor will pop out and they'll start like looking around and go, wow, like it's own VR. Or like sometimes you'll be platforming with the robot and it'll like run across like directly in front of you, and the robot will turn and like wave as it runs by you and stuff. Like things like that. I was like, oh, it's fun. But yeah, it's a great game. And some of the soundtrack is awesome too. Like there's one song in particular that I've been listening to like once a day just because I enjoy it so much.
Sweet.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, it's been topping a lot of must-play PSVR games for a reason.
Yeah, I did see some end of the year lists picked it as their like VR game of the year. Like I'd picked Beat Saber myself, but Astrobot is one of the best VR games I've played. And it's like I said, it's not like a lot of VR games, as we mentioned, are just kind of like little gimmicky experiences or just like a situation, where this is a full game. Like
I don't mind some of them being short because it's one of those things where it's like it's just based on an idea, and
that idea doesn't go very.
It's basically like when it starts to get old, the game's over, and you're like, oh, that's good then.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, if you got a PSVR, get Astrobot.
Absolutely. Yeah, are you gonna check out Moss at some point?
Yes. Yeah, I do intend to get Moss eventually. Especially like I'm kind of disappointed because at first they were kind of they were advertising the fact that I don't know if the mouse, I don't know if its name is Moss.
His name's Quill, damn it.
Quill, that's right. I knew that. So Quill will actually do some sign language at certain points, and I thought that was really neat. A lot of people kind of shrug that off and be like, whoop-de-doo. So my fiance is actually hard of hearing, and she appreciates when things do include stuff like that. I mean, she talks, she's not completely deaf. She has hearing aids, but she knows sign language, not like fluently, but things like that are always attractive to her because,
it's just an extra little thing that, like some people wouldn't even realize.
She could relate to. And I was like, hey, maybe this is another like cool way that I can introduce her to games, because like it's not like she doesn't like video games. She just isn't engaged like we are. She plays some games, like she plays mobile games. Like I'm not sure what she's playing now. She plays like some of like the designer fashion games. She played Fire Emblem Heroes for months. Like she's
got taste.
She's super good stuff, but she'll play like the Sims mobile game.
That's why you should give her the 3DS and get her some of those Fire Emblem games, bud.
Yeah. But yeah. So, anyways, yeah, we'll see what happens with Moss. So, yeah, moving on here. I think going a little long talking about games. I apologize. I do that.
Shut the hell up. My turn.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna bunch these two together because it's something we can discuss together.
Cool.
Yes, it's games that you beat recently as well. I completed both Job Simulator and Superhot. And since we've talked about it, people who listen, and this isn't their first podcast, will know what's up with these.
Yes.
Pretty short little experiences. Job Simulator, like we were saying before, I tried both of these games before, but this was the first time I actually played my own copies.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Job Simulator was this kind of like probably the quickest game I've beat.
Really?
On the VSAR. It was just
That's
when I first played it, I thought it was silly, like, because the first level is pretty much the office one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much the extent of what I'd played, and I thought it was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
But then when I got to like the rest of the game, I was actually like over it kind of quick.
Oh,
I beat it pretty fast, but I wasn't trying to. I was joking around and what I could, but I got pretty bored with it pretty fast.
I got 5-6 hours into it myself.
I don't think I got that far into it.
I think through so there's four levels. For me, each level took about an hour because I was like screwing around the whole time too. Like I was messing with things and chucking stuff at various things to see what would happen. Like there's some levels there's actually achievements, like the chef level. Like if you threw food into the fish tank, there's an achievement.
Yeah.
Like so I was doing a lot of stuff like that, but I will say like
I got the platinum on it even, and it would just I don't think maybe 3 hours. And it was
so the office, the chef, and the convenience store ones, like those were relatively the same, I thought. The auto mechanic one was my favorite just because of the radio station.
Yeah, I was gonna say that radio station was like something it really reminded me of Accounting Plus. If you liked that part, you should definitely check out Accounting Plus. Like
absolutely hilarious. It's Justin Roiland who does writing and voices for Rick and Morty, and he's doing this talk show about cars, and there's just it's absolute nonsense that goes on for like 20 minutes. And it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's just improv off the top of his head nonsense talking, and that's a lot of what Accounting Plus is. So yeah, I definitely have to. It's a short experience too, but there's multiple ways you can play it. But I think I want to say it was like under $10, and it was. It was one of the first things I played.
If you get it digitally, it's worth it. It's fun. It gets some good laughs. It's not like besides the auto mechanic one, like it's not so much like they're telling jokes. It's just more the situation's funny.
That radio station made it, and I had no idea about it, and I just kind of turned it on while goofing around because I was getting kind of, like I said, I was getting kind of bored of it. And I think it was the last one I did, and then I was laughing my ass off at the radio station. But then like people were coming in and basically making you do the same kind of things, and I was like, besides screwing around, I guess it's what it really did simulate a job. I was bored of what I was having to do, and I was just screwing around to get through it.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of the point. You're supposed to just screw around the whole time.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a quick playthrough. I was kind of over it. A little disappointed. Definitely not worth the asking price online. So go for a cheap copy if you find it. It was worth a playthrough, and I don't regret getting it because I bought it really cheap. It was on clearance at Walmart right when I got my VR. So no regrets. But yeah, it was a one and done. I don't think I'll be going back to it very much. Super hot. I had a lot of fun with that. I didn't find it all that challenging, but yeah, you definitely feel like John Neo Wick.
Yes.
While playing it, and my only parts I got stuck on were actually because of where I had my camera. I would like go to pick something up.
Oh yeah.
And I'd have to try a few times. Like I'd have to like quickly put my arm that way, but I would, when you got things shooting at you and they only move when you move, it would make you die. So once I moved my camera, I wasn't getting stuck because I wasn't hitting the boundaries of where the camera could see, and there was smooth sailing from there. But there was this one part. I think it was the what is it? Not the construction site. Maybe it was a construction site.
Mm-hmm.
where you
Probably those are.
it's the one where you start in the room with the three guys and there's like a dog dish in front of you.
Oh
You
yeah,
drop them,
yeah.
and then you throw, and then there's like bottles next to you. You can throw at the other two guys.
Yep.
And then there's the guys that are shooting up at you.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, yeah. So I didn't have a problem with it once I could actually reach it, but there's that one where they were all really close to you, and you got three shooters, and I was trying to reach the gun or a bottle or anything, and I was like, dead. But then you have to, it's like you play everything in blocks. So if you die, you go back to the beginning of the block or level or whatever, and then you play through these little scenarios for people who don't know, and usually get to the end of about 5 or 6 of them, varying degrees of difficulty. It's weird because like that one I got stuck for a little bit.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
But the other one, like the ones after it, I just like breezed through after I got through that one finally. And even when you have to redo it, it's not really that frustrating. But yeah, if your play area limitations can piss you off. So that's one of the ones that I needed the most playroom. That's one I probably should have played in my living room. But I enjoyed it for what it was. It seemed kind of short once I finished it though. There's the different challenges and stuff at least to keep you playing.
Yeah.
I checked out a bit of those. I didn't go too far into it, but I consider it beaten.
Cool.
Well, what else did you play?
So for the sake of time here, I'm not going to really say much about these. Most of you probably already know about them. The Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle had my brother and a friend over, and I was like, hey, let's play some beat 'em ups.
God damn.
Yeah, a lot of these you can play 4-player, which is awesome. So we played through Knights of the Round, classic beat 'em up. Sure, most of you.
I think it's one of my favorite ones on the top 2 of my favorite ones.
It's a classic, but I will say the one that I'd never heard of, and I was like, hey, this looks pretty neat. Armored Warriors. That game was awesome. Like, wow, like I'm bummed I'd never heard of that until this point.
It's so good. Yeah.
It's so basically you pick one of 4 robots that are relatively the same. They just look different, but like
one move, I think they just move in different speeds. That's about it.
But as you play through these levels and you beat up other mechs, you take their weapons, like it'd be like a big drill, or you can pick up like a rocket launcher, or you might. So there's different weapons attachments you can get, and then there's like mobility attachments, but they don't really do much. Like there's like treads, or you can get like spider legs.
Oh, I think the treads were like the worst one.
But but awesome game. Like if you get the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle, which I think is only like $20, might be 30. I can't remember. I think it's 20. That game's great. So yeah, I'm looking to playing more of the beat 'em ups.
The funny thing about that bundle is I think the most famous game is the game I enjoyed the least.
Final Fight?
Yeah. Final Fight was just kind of like as the last one.
It's straight up.
I was kind of over it by the time
but it's a classic.
I mean, I played it before. That's probably a lot of it. But I was just like some of those other games just innovated, and there's so much cool.
For sure,
you don't see it enough features in it that I was just kind of like. Once I got to that, I should have played it first, honestly. But it was a ton of fun. As we know, I love my beat 'em ups, and I played that game solid for. I think I did two a night for 2 or 3 a night for like 3 nights.
Yeah. So yeah, that was all the stuff that I've been playing.
Sweet. There's only 2 other things I got. I went right after Christmas and the holidays. They had a holiday sale on the PSN, and it's at the same time I was buying up a shit ton of VR games. I bought a whole bunch off Amazon, and ones that I was kind of on the fence about that were a little pricier than some of the other ones I grabbed ended up being like such a low price that I opted to get the digital over the physical, just like so cheap. Like games that were like $50 online were like $15 with the add-ons, shit like that. So I ended up I bought a whole bunch of crap, and the ones I like more, I'll probably still try to snag a physical copy of. But the first one I opted to play is this game called Blasters of the Universe, which is basically like an arcadey bullet hell like shooting gallery kind of game, where you stand in one spot and enemies just come at you in waves. There's a whole bunch of them on the PSVR, and I think for VR these might be my favorite kind of games. They're like basically my beat 'em ups of VR.
Like arcade shooters.
Yeah, I really liked Rush of Blood. I think I'm just like in the shooting games, honestly. I just like shooting games.
Sure.
They're just amazing. But yeah, you're basically this you're playing in VR, and this guy I don't know lives in VR, and he's like this really nerdy guy. He's like, you'll never defeat me, and like classic old school. It's meant to be like a retro themed, like this guy that was like the king of the arcade kind of took over this VR thing. I don't know. The story doesn't really matter because the gameplay is what it's all about, and it's a ton of fun. One hand, you got your blaster that you can change the loadout on. It can have different special moves, different little modifiers to like your magazine, like how much shots it has, how much damage the bullets do, all types of different stuff. It's really cool, and you unlock more as you progress. The game's a bit short. There's only like 4 levels, but they're pretty challenging. And I found like the second level I got stuck on for a while until I changed my loadout around, and then it was like the game was a breeze after that. Like I beat the last level first try, but it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely another game that gets you moving because you got to be avoiding these projectiles because your left hand is a shield that you can use, but it's only got, you can change different loadouts for your shield too. It'll be different sizes, there'll be different powers, like sometimes it can absorb shots and shoot them back. But yeah, definitely you got to try to avoid more than just blocking all the time because it won't work nearly as long as you want to, especially when you're like, it's a bullet hell, so there's tons of shots coming at you all the time. I definitely recommend it. It was a ton of fun.
Cool.
And there's endless modes you can play too to try and attack scores, and that's what caught me. I was playing that for days after I beat it. And then the very last thing, I started actually playing this last night, and I'm pretty sure I'm like 75% of the way through it already, is Arizona Sunshine. And it's this really cool zombie shooter game that uses the teleport controls that some people might call a deal breaker.
VR
uses it. Skyrim.
Yeah, like I said before, when I played Deracine, and by the end of the game, I understand why teleport controls are in, and they work great for what they are. Like I have nothing against them anymore.
No, you get used to it pretty quickly, and maybe it's the VR version of tank controls. Just not some people's cup of tea. But I think it's very intuitive once you get used to it. It's almost like second nature because you use the buttons. A lot of them, I don't know if I haven't played Deracine yet, but I know you use like the buttons on the move controllers to turn your character. Like you'll turn like a 90-degree.
Yep.
That way, because like you got to be getting away from zombies. You got to be like you're opening drawers to get ammo and stuff. It's a ton of fun. The aiming is spot on. There's little scopes on your guns. Sniper rifles and shit. It's so awesome.
Sweet.
It's one of the first games I've played on VR that says it's co-op enabled too, so I would not mind getting a friend in and playing some co-op on that. It would probably be a riot. It's definitely recommend it. It's one of the games that I was like, oh man, I really want it, but it was like $55 when I was looking at it on Amazon, and
for the physical,
not much cheaper on eBay at the time even, but now
and
it's
that's because it's an import too.
Yeah, well, a lot of the games that got our imports were like $16 and stuff like.
Yeah, a lot of
Arcade and
a a lot of VR games seem like they don't want to do physical distribution in North America. So a lot of these are UK imports for physical versions, that is.
Yeah, I can't say I've spent more than $30 on any VR game I have physically. I don't think there's any that no, I'm looking at my stack right now. I don't see really any. I either wait till they're on sale. Like, that's why I don't have the aim controller yet. It's because right after Christmas, the Firewall aim controller bundle went down to $60. So that's like my cat price now. I missed out on that price because I hesitated. Like, it was just Christmas. I probably shouldn't be buying more games again already. Maybe give it a couple days. And then it went back up, and then I've been kicking myself since. Because there's a couple of games that like need it, like Farpoint that I've been really wanting to try. Firewall is another one I've been really wanting to check out too. Arizona Sunshine actually uses that too as an option. And you know, I don't know, that's probably one of the cooler peripherals that I think I'd get a lot of use out of. Yeah, so that's a bit of a bummer, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. The only other thing I'm just gonna rip on a bit. I played Drunken Bar Fight. This is the game I was talking about where I was like, you can't really beat it. You just start playing and beat people up. And, you know, it looks, I've seen, you know, on Facebook.
Well, funny
videos of it, but it's really like paper thin. And it's officially the second game where I got like almost not intense like Resident Evil 7, but it was like, I think it's actually the low frame rate, which is something I don't ever complain about. But it was very jarring when you turn too, and I could only play it for like 10 minutes at a time. It was a very disappointing game. It was very cheap too, and I feel like I got what I paid for. I beat up a couple guys. You can't even get all the trophies. 2 of the trophies are glitched, so that's a shame too. So that's 2 games now that I can't complete. But yeah, so like I said, I could only play it 10 minutes at a time. I was probably just going to get the trophies and be done it anyway.
Sure.
So yeah, I can't recommend Drunken Bar Fight. Maybe it's better on PC. From what I understand, they had to completely like remake it to put it on consoles. And yeah, it's crap unless they patch it. Yeah, it's a very budget title, and it wasn't even as fun as it looked.
Sure.
So that's a bummer. I beat up a couple guys, get a couple small laughs, and then the controls are pretty jank too. So can't matter. So yeah, productive.
Awesome.
When's the last time I was able to talk that much about games I played?
Right. So keep it up.
I'm trying.
Expect 6 games next time.
One of them is going to be Devil May Cry, and then maybe I'll have to. I feel like I've knocked out a few of my shorter games now. That's why I started playing Arizona Sunshine. I felt like I wanted something more substantial with like more like real world levels and shit. So I'm going to try and knock out Doom and
sure
a couple more of the level based games of Psychonauts, Rhombus of Ruin, Torn, Downward Spiral, Horror Station. And the Persistence. The Persistence, I think, is going to be the next game.
Cool.
Maybe I'll try to knock it out before Friday.
Yeah. So then, moving on to the community question. So when I posted the last episode, as of late, I've been putting the community question in the description, and I copy pasted some of the description, so it was an old description. So I don't know if it's maybe people didn't see that and forgot what the community question was. We didn't get a lot of comments last time either. So I'm going to repeat the same community question because this is episode 69 and I didn't prepare anything. The best thing I could come up with to connect with that was the question.
It's episode Slack69.
Episode Slack69. So the community question I would like to hear is, what are your favorite games with fan service, and what are your favorite fan service moments in a game? Now, this can be fan service of the, jiggly, booby kind, whatever. Or this could just be like fan service, like, references to,
past games, little Easter eggs.
Yeah, whatever whatever you want to consider fan service, whatever that comes to mind when you think about fan service or Easter eggs. Let us know, and we will let you know some of ours next time as well.
Yeah, we'll bother to think of our own answers too this time. We promise.
Yes,
it's pretty bad when we don't answer our own community question because we forgot to think about it.
Oops. So then for upcoming games, and really you've kind of mentioned the only really significant one that's coming out.
The GOAT.
Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, we got Anthem just came out, and it's killing PS4s.
Apparently, it's getting mixed reviews. Most people are saying it's trash. I have a few friends that are really enjoying it. I'm still on the fence myself. I'm
hearing both. I think it might depend on what console people are playing it on too.
Yeah,
to be sure, because I'm hearing very conflicting stuff. It's absolute trash. I think it's just what people want out of it, honestly.
Yeah, probably. We got
another game that's just come out yesterday as of recording is Left Alive, which is a spin-off game of Armored Core, or is it MechWarrior?
Front Mission.
Yeah, that's what
we talked about that last time, and it's actually getting really bad reviews.
That's a big bummer because it looked really cool.
Yeah, it looked really cool. They say the gameplay is super superficial. The AI is like inconsistent, and they're like, yeah, there's just not much to it. So I'm gonna, I take reviews with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
but I do want to see some more before I, decide to throw $60 at this game.
Well, yeah, it's one of those games that you wait a bit and hopefully they patch out the problems and then it makes it good.
Yeah.
Just like with Anthem, I'm just not buying it new because of all the bad shit it's getting, not because I care about reviews. It's because I know it's going to be like $20, like Fallout 76 is. All these bandwagon hate games, the only good thing about it is you can potentially get a good game on the cheap. So I'm going to snag me a $30 or less copy of Anthem whenever it becomes available.
Then one other game that I'm waiting for my limited run release of is the new Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove.
Yes, sir. Me too. That'd be cool. So
that's about it.
Cool shit.
So then let's kind of wrap things up here. What you got going on the next couple weeks? I know Devil May Cry is it.
I think my family may cry from the neglect.
Nice.
Yeah. I may cry from getting fired from both jobs.
Yeah.
It's the result of not showing it. But besides that, I'm gonna try and I'm VR binging right until Friday. Hopefully I'll knock out a couple more cool games. Then I'll be playing that for the remainder of its days, and then once I beat it, probably right back to more VR.
Sounds like a plan.
That's my entire plan of my life for the next.
I can roll with that.
You got March break off?
I will have some time off next week. At the time of recording this podcast, anyways. So that's great. I got a couple things I'm going to be playing. I just finally got my this game I've been holding out for a physical version since it was released. And I finally got that. And that is Rabby Reeby. Limited Run did a physical release of this game. It was available on I'm pretty sure it was available digitally for a while now. The one thing that really stuck out to me about this game is that ever since it was released on Steam, it has remained one of the highest rated games on Steam. Like I'm talking like top 10 or 20 games on Steam.
That's pretty bad.
Since it was released, and that is saying a lot about a game. It's basically a cutesy Metroidvania with bunny girls.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome. So I'm going to be starting that.
Probably
Probably
your favorite fan service game.
Yeah, there you go. And then The Cartridge Club Game of the Month for March is What Remains of Edith Finch, which I also have a copy of that. Not a terribly long game. I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I think I will be playing that as well. That's kind of like a narrative walking sim.
Yeah,
But it's supposed to be like one of the best.
It won a bunch of awards and shit. So
Yeah. So good pick, Cartridge Club for Game of the Month. So
I don't know how I consistently miss out. I've got a limited run on, I follow them on Facebook. I seem to only hear about the games that I don't give a shit about. And games I would really like seem to like slip through the cracks and I don't see anything about.
they do releases almost every Friday.
Yeah. Well, and, I'm on Facebook pretty often, and I just seem to miss out on, like they're doing VR games now too. And
nothing that I thought looked too great myself.
The one that really stung me that I missed out on was that adventure bundle that I've seen that you grabbed.
Oh yeah.
That sucks. Wish I'd snagged that. Because I'm all about those games. I love Shadowgate.
Yeah. Oh well.
There's a scalper price.
True. Yep. Which I'm gonna have to result to for Salt and Sanctuary because I totally spaced that one. And those just started hitting eBay last week, so yay. Yeah. So I think real quick, I want to let everybody know who's listening if and how they can get a hold of us if they want to. Of course, the podcast is hosted on YouTube and SoundCloud. It's available through pretty much any podcast app and iTunes. If you want to get a hold of me, look me up on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram as The Game Grinder. And you can find Jason on YouTube and Facebook as Corpse Sled Gaming. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment.
Absolutely. Hit it up. I also got to thank everybody. Actually, speaking of comments, I saw the comments from the first episode I was back. I got to say thanks to everyone for the warm welcome back. I saw a bunch of people saying good to have me back, so that's cool. I'm glad it wasn't all eye rolls when I came back.
This guy.
This guy again.
Yeah.
Delete.
Cool. So, I think that is going to do it for this episode of the Game Tenants Podcast, episode Slack-D9, or what did you say?
Slack-D9, yeah.
Slack-D9.
We'll see you next time when we get around to it.
Yes. Later.
Bye.
All right, we're here talking about cars today on the Car Radio channel. There's lots of stuff going on in the hood of a car. Yeah, that's right. Got a lot of things in there. You got to look at the stuff inside the car. You sure do. Yes, lots of items inside the car. There's that one metal piece. It's pretty important in the car. I'd like to call that the Achilles piece. Oh yeah, I know all about the Achilles piece. It's a real important piece of a car. Well, there's lots of stuff inside of a car you got to tuck around with and move around with, Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with all the intricacies about a car, There's all those pipes and different metal parts and things such as that. All kinds of them, really. They're very interesting vehicles, these cars. They're very interesting creations, I do admit. Oh yes, I'm really interested about these cars. I think they're pretty interesting. I do admit that there's a lot of stuff about them. There sure is. There's a lot of stuff about these cars, as they've got pipes and tubes and all sorts of, metal parts. It's just really, what about that new car? Oh, the new car. Oh, yeah. I mean, it just has all kinds of tubes and pipes, and it has metal, too. Lots of metal in it. Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of... forget about it. just forget about it with all the metal in that one. Yeah, those cars, they really picked it up a notch when they... God broke the mold when he made that just a car. When he made a car, he broke the mold. Yeah, he sure did break it. I'll tell you about those cars. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to cars. I mean, you pop the hood and there's that one piece. Oh yeah, the piece. I know what piece. It's that one the metal piece. Yeah, the metal one. That metal piece is just, it's something else. I mean, it's an important piece. It's maybe the most important piece of, that's the first piece you want to look at when you're talking about a car. Yes, that metal piece, it's an important piece, but I don't want to take any, of the limelight away from the tubes. There's lots of tubes and pipes. Let's not forget the pipes. Oh yeah, a car, you can't have a car without the pipes and the tubes. That's an important part of a car. That's an important equation. It sure is. That's the most important issue with the car these days. It's one of the hottest topics, is the pipes and the tubes. There's just all sorts of tubes. It's a wild world. It's a wild world we're living in with these cars. Yeah, there's a car. There was this one car, and it had there was a square-shaped metal thing inside of the trunk part. Inside of the front part of it. Oh, really? Yeah, inside the front section, with the lid that you pop open the lid on it. Yeah. There's like a metal piece in there, just a real kind of square-shaped almost, or a little more detailed than just square, but it's a piece of metal. You gotta give it up for these cars. Yeah, you sure do. You gotta give it up for the cars. There's at least a big piece of metal in the front hinge section with the lid. You gotta pop that lid and check out the metal. Yeah, there's an old saying about cars. It says, you gotta check out the metal when you pop the lid. Yeah, it's a classic saying. It's funny. I remember, not to make this about me, but back when I first was learning about cars and with the tubes and the pipes and the square metal chunks, and I was just learning it from somebody who told me about it, and I was a fond time in my life when I was learning about all that. Yeah, I remember when I learned about all there is to know about cars. From the top to the bottom. From the beginning to the end. It was just a great conversation about the pipes and the metal box and the tubes. And that's pretty much. You and I are in the same boat, because I'll never forget where I was when somebody told me about all that stuff. Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well. This is just, it's these cars are just, I could talk all day about how wonderful they are. You're listening to Car Talk here on 100110001 radio. So what do you feel about cars, Henry? Oh yeah, my name's Henry, and I like cars. I don't know. I'm a car character. I'm just all about cars. I'll answer any questions about any kind of car you want. All right, Henry. Yeah, you're my best co-host I've ever had here on Car Talk Radio, 1001100. FM.com on the Car Talk station, 1001100 FM. Boy, these cars, do they get any more car-like? Could you get any more car-like? That's like what that one character used to say on that one primetime hit sitcom from the 90s. He used to go, "Could you get any more talk about cars in here?" Oh, yeah, I know all about what you're talking about right there. That's a real great reference about cars and just tubes. And, my name's Henry, and you're listening to Car Talk Radio on 0010010 radio. What's the next topic? Well, up next, we're just going to talk about just cars. So, it's always struck me as funny how the car, there's that part of it that, the side hinge, I call it, where you pull on it and sort of a big thing unfurls, it sort of folds open, or unfolds, I should say, against the car's side. It sort of opens, and every car has at least 2 of them, Oh, yeah, I've seen a lot of cars have 4 of them. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of cars that have got 4 of those. I mean, those are real something else. I mean, you got to, God broke the mold when he came up with those unfolding hinge things that these cars have. Yeah, God broke the mold. That is true. And he made those hingy things. You look close at them and there's lots of metal. Not too many. I don't see too many tubes though. Not too many tubes. No. Yeah, you're right about that. Not a whole lot of tubes there. No pipes either. I don't actually recall seeing too many pipes in that section. Yeah, no, it's funny. I mean, these cars are made mostly of just pipes and tubes and metal, but the little foldy flap things on the side of the cars, it's funny. You're only seeing, mostly metal there. Yeah, it's mostly metal on those sections of the car. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. They must, the tubes and the pipes must be pretty well hidden underneath the exterior layer section of that part of the car. Well, you're listening to Radio Car Talk Radio on 001110. Up next, the topic is the top of a car. Yeah, the top of a car, I mean, it's where you're really getting serious about what's up at the top, the highest part. Yeah, the highest part of the car that's the part of the car that's going to be the highest in altitude. It'll be the highest in, the tallest part. Yeah, it's funny because it gets high up there, it's the highest section of the car, really. Yeah, it's the highest. I mean, look, I don't want to get into an argument with you about it, but it is the highest section. Yeah, you know what? It is the high. I'm saying you're gonna make me get into an argument because I'm telling you it is the highest section. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Well, I'm trying to tell you, Buster, that the ceiling or the top of the car is the highest section of the car. Now, you're getting me real upset. I'm gonna have to kick you out of here if you're gonna keep up this sort of attitude. Now, you listen to me, pal. I'm getting pissed. Because I'm trying to talk about the very highest altitude of a car, and it's the roof part. And now you're yelling at me, and I wasn't even upset. Now I'm just getting mad because you're yelling at me, and you're saying I'm upset, and that makes me more upset than even the original whatever argument that started. All right, okay. Let's calm down. Let's just calm down. You're listening to the car radio 1000110 FM radio. We're talking cars today. My guest Henry here. Henry, what else? How are you holding up there? Well, I'm just here to talk about pipes and that they have inside the cars and the box. The little metal box, and maybe we could talk about some of the tubes. There's plenty of tubes in a car. I mean, you can't deny the amount of tubes. Yes, it's true. It's true. There are lots of tubes and pipes and metal. It's probably the definition of a car is how much metal and pipes and the tubes that it does, that's in there. You're listening to Car Talk here on 10011100001 radio.